And here we go. Hello, and welcome to our show, Crooked Doctors. Today is Friday, May 2nd, 2014. Oh, looks like we got a caller. Hello? 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 Okay, let me put you through. Okay, we got Jason Berg on the phone. Say hello, Jason.
Hello, folks. Jason Berg here from Jersey, New Jersey.
Great to have you. Thank you so much for calling in.
Always a pleasure to find out more what's going on with Crooked Doctors.
And prosecuting them and putting them in jail, along with Steve Fulop. But we'll get to that. So today we have in the studio, by the way, you sound great, Jason. Are you calling in on a hard line?
Yes, I'm hardly on the hard line. You know that.
No, this is great. Usually we're so overbooked, we're always in the field, that Jason calls in on a cell phone. But your audio is beautiful. You sound great. And do you like our photograph of Jason Berg?
Oh, I love it. I love it. What a handsome guy.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. From an older, handsome young man like yourself, I appreciate it.
In the studio with us is Josh Valinsky.
Hi.
Hey, Josh.
Hello.
And Josh Valinsky's one of the first, one of our biggest fans, and he also was one of the first people who donated airtime to me and Bill when we were trying to get the tenants' rights law passed in New Jersey. It was Josh Valinsky and Gloria Messer, who are diehard tenant advocates, and they donated airtime. We made DVDs. We passed them out to the city council in Newark and in Jersey City. And I'm pleased to report that we got the law passed in Jersey.
Wow.
And
we need it in New York now.
Yes, that's why one of our past shows, Josh reached out to the Manhattan Borough President's office, to Gail Brewer's office, and invited Ann Cunningham, the housing specialist, and we did a show. Every month, Ann Cunningham does a series of workshops. About tenants' rights in the housing clinic. So I've got the flyer here, and part of what we do at Crooked Doctors is we help others. Wait, before we jump into this,
where's Bill?
Someone's missing. Okay, William Doherty, who's our regular co-host, has some very serious personal issues, I regret to report, that he has to take care of. So Josh is going to help us. Our watchwords here at Crooked Doctors are flexibility, versatility. No matter what happens, we make it work. Okay, so Bill's job is to take care of himself and get strong and come back. In the meantime, we're taking care of things. And I want to say a word in Bill's defense, because Bill got some criticism. His mom is also not doing so well, and Bill got some criticism from some family members and other folks, claiming that, and this is kind of the way that I get to try to get discredited. As you know, this show is all about the Crooked Doctors at Yeshiva University. And as you know, they're being sued right now in federal court by 36 former students. And I'm providing information that will also help them build their cases. I'm getting phone calls from other students. So we got Crooked Doctors at the Albert Einstein College of Medicine that have been persecuting me for about 20 years. And right now there's 34 former students who are suing in federal court in the Southern District of New York in federal court, and I laid a foundation for them. They're suing for sexual and physical abuse going back decades. And right now they're fighting the good fight in the Second Circuit. We'll get into that a little bit later, and the reason why I bring this up is because some of the comments that were leveled at me, I caught, as you know, the crooked attorneys from this crooked school. In 2006, I was named as a witness in another student's case. And the school tried to discredit me in 2006 in federal court in the Southern District of New York, and they went in, they told a lie. and they claimed that I had failed all my classes as a first-year medical student except for one, and that wasn't true. So, you know, I say to this school, to Yeshiva University, that's supposed to be an Orthodox Jewish school, well, it looks to me like you're bearing false witness against your neighbor. So what kind of Orthodox Jewish school are you? Right? So you're violating the Ten Commandments. So they try to attack me whenever I whenever I get into a dispute with my mom as breaking the Ten Commandments. Do you see how the propaganda works? Claiming that I'm not honoring my mother and my father. Well, they tried creating the same propaganda campaign against William Doherty, claiming that because he didn't visit his mother enough, because she has some health challenges, that he also was not honoring her, and so that he wasn't a good son, and he's not someone you should be friends with, and he was violating the Ten Commandments. All of that's not true. William Doherty's big challenge in life is he's married to an African-American woman from Jamaica. So they're an interracial couple, and they get a lot of hate leveled at them from both sides. So there are a lot of family members in Bill's family that don't accept his wife, and she happens to be a lovely person. You know, that causes a lot of tension, and Bill and his wife feel that the best thing to do is just leave it alone. So it's not that he's not being attentive to his family members or to his mom, or that he's breaking the Ten Commandments. It's just that they get a lot of hate from both sides because they're an interracial couple. So Bill's home. He's trying to do better. We'll hear from Bill. Hopefully he'll call in a couple weeks and let us know how things are going. Okay, so in the meantime, we've got Josh Valinsky.
Yes.
So part of our show is we also try to help others. And we're donating some time to the Manhattan Borough President's Office, to Ann Cunningham. And you see this blue flyer here. Now, Bill and I were out in the field this week, weren't we?
Yes.
We went out into the field and we collected some video with Ann Cunningham, and she's going to talk about this. We're going to devote about the next 10 or 15 minutes to helping others. So we're going to help the Gail Brewer at the Manhattan Borough President's Office, and her housing specialist is Ann Cunningham. And along with Manhattan City Council member Helen Rosenthal, they sponsor free housing clinics and free housing workshops for tenants. This is excellent. I was there. In one room, you have a senior staff attorney from the Urban Justice Center giving a lecture, and you can ask questions.
That's right.
And in another room, you've got free attorneys from the Urban Justice Center, free legal aid attorneys that you can have a free consultation with.
Yeah.
Now, Ann Cunningham could not join us in the studio, so we went out and took some film.
Yes.
And I was going to edit it, but that we're so busy here at Manhattan Neighborhood Network that I'm going to have to play this on my computer. So I brought in my computer, and the audio's great and the video's great. Everything kind of has a little blue tinge to it, but because these women are powerhouses in the Democratic Party, we figured we'd coordinate everything in blue. So is that all right with you, Jeff?
Yeah.
So we're coordinating everything. But drop the flyer a little bit so we can see your beautiful face, Josh.
I want to say that clinic is so excellent that law students and professors come there to study tenant law.
And learn.
And learn and take notes.
Interesting too. In New Jersey, we just won a stay from an eviction in Essex County, Orange. So we'll talk more about that another time. But when I'm doing a lot to help other people in the tri-state area.
You want to drop this down a little so we can see your face? Okay. Yeah, a lot of the issues that we're working on in tackling the crooked courts come out in landlord-tenant court. So a lot of the issues for me came out in landlord-tenant court because the big picture for me, and we'll get into this, is that the crimes in New Jersey, in Manhattan, I was subjected to malicious prosecution, abusive process to cover up for the crimes in New Jersey. So we'll get back to that after we do this. So what we're going to do now is, because we make it work here at Manhattan Neighborhood Network, this is my computer, and I'm going to play for you the film that we took on location. So give me a minute to bring this up. Josh, you want to tell everybody about the housing clinic is going to be?
Well, the housing clinic is on May 7th. Be sure to come early. It starts 6 p.m. And the topics are going to be scree and dree. What is that? That is the freezing of rent for senior citizens and for disabled people. That's what scree is for senior tenants, and dree is for disabled tenants. And the good news is that in New York State, the income level of senior citizens has been raised to $50,000 a year.
Okay.
And that's going to become official in about 2 weeks.
Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to.
Well, I just want, May 7th is my birthday. I'm going to be 61.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I look pretty good for a 61-year-old.
Yeah, you do. Okay, so this is, as I said, we make it work here at Manhattan Neighborhood Network, and this is Josh. This is on my computer. This is me and Josh Falinsky went out into the field. I'm just going to adjust this a little bit. Everything does have a little bit of a blue tinge, but that's okay because we're talking to women who are powerhouses in the Democratic Party, and this is Ann Cunningham. And this is Josh Falinsky, our man about town. And we everything was against us on this day because it was raining cats and dogs. I can't tell you the amount of challenges, but it doesn't matter because true to form, we make it work. So let's go to our video. And this is about a 6-minute video that's telling the general public about free attorneys, free tenant workshops this coming Wednesday, May 7th at the Goddard Riverside Community Center on Columbus Avenue between 88th Street and 89th Street.
And I'll tell you one secret. Tenants are allowed to digress at this session. And sometimes when you're a nervous wreck, that's a blessing.
Okay.
They're allowed to digress.
Okay.
And they do.
So here we go. Here's our video. Oh, at least my audio levels are up. Uh-oh. Okay. I'm not sure I'm getting... Oh, hold on. Hold on. Just 1 second. Hang on. Let's come back to us for a second. I'm not sure. Well, hang on for just 1 second. I want to make sure my audio's up. We're supposed to be on 15:16. Okay. So this should be, let me make sure. Okay. Did anybody? All right. Well, I'm just going to thank, I had this good to go. I'm not sure what exactly happened here, but you know what? I want to see if this will
I'd
play.
like to.
Okay, here we go. So I'm going to play this in studio. I don't know why this didn't come up the way it was supposed to. So I'm just going to play this in studio. Okay? Well, so thank you for your patience and understanding.
Hello, we're on location.
Okay. So here we go back to... All right, here we go.
With Josh Falinsky and Ann Cunningham from the housing specialist from Gail Brewer's office. This is Manhattan Borough President Gail Brewer. Josh, why don't you tell us why we're here today?
Well, we're here today to tell you about the up and coming tenant counseling session at Goddard Riverside. Housing clinic. It's the most phenomenal housing clinic in 50 years. How do I know? I was there 50 years ago when we had the West Side Tenants Union, Metropolitan Council on Housing, the Columbia Tenants Union, and the one we have now tops them all. It's so superb, so phenomenal, such a activist treasure, and so precious, and it's so wonderful that even lawyers from legal classes come to take notes.
Okay, so next, I'm sorry to interrupt, but here we go. So next, Ann Cunningham is holding up a flyer. So what I'm going to do is zoom in on the flyer a little bit. And apparently there is a housing clinic. There's housing workshops and housing clinics. And I'm reading the flyer a little bit. The New York City Council member Helen Rosenthal, in conjunction with Manhattan Borough President Gail Brewer, is sponsoring free monthly housing clinics and workshops at the Goddard Riverside Community Center, which is located at 593 Columbus Avenue between 88th and 89th Streets in Manhattan. And the next one is going to be on Wednesday, May 7th, 2014. It's going to be about scree benefits. There's one on June 4th, 2014. So the last two ones that you can attend are May 7th, Wednesday, May 7th, and June 4th, 2014. And what I understand, Ms. Cunningham, is that there will be free attorneys from the urban.
Okay, what this is sponsored with funding from the City Council, the New York City Council, and the clinic is administered by the Goddard Riverside Law Project, formerly the Westside SRO Law Project, and the Urban Justice Center in Manhattan.
So if you come to these free clinics, there's a private room with free lawyers from the Urban Justice Center that you can have a free consultation with. And while you're having a free consultation in another room, there's a lecture by a senior staff attorney from the Urban Justice Center.
And Goddard Riverside also.
And you can stop the lecture in the middle and you can ask questions. Is that correct?
Sometimes you can. It's best to wait until after the lecture for the questions. However, we do have 5 legal aid attorneys in a separate room that you give consultations.
Fabulous.
Free consultations.
Fabulous.
About relevant to housing problems.
So we recommend that if you're interested, you get there early, about 5:30 in the evening, sign up, and you can have a free consultation with a legal aid attorney. And on Wednesday, May 7th, 2014, at the Goddard Riverside Center, which is between West 188th Street and 88th Street. I'm sorry, thank you for correcting me. West 188th Street?
No, 88th Street.
Oh, 88th Street and 89th Street on Columbus Avenue. Sorry. You can get there early at like 5:30. Sign up for a free consultation and listen to the lecture. And on Wednesday, May 7th, where the specific subject matter is going to be scree and scree benefits.
Scree, and preferential rent.
Excellent.
Discussing preferential rent also, along with and scree. And in June, on the first Wednesday of the month, we're going to talk about succession rights.
Excellent.
Now, this clinic is held the first Wednesday of the month. And after June, the next housing clinic will be in September, hopefully, depending on the funding.
Terrific. And we'd like to say thank you to City Council member, Manhattan City Council member Helen Rosenthal. And we'd like to say thank you to Manhattan Borough President Gail Brewer. And we'd like to say thank you to our housing specialist, Ann Cunningham. And we'd also like to say thank you to our fellow M&N producer and man about town, Josh Valinsky.
I'm a tenant advocate also.
Yes.
But we'll go into it some other time.
Many years.
Thank you so much. Is there anything you'd like to add, Ms. Cunningham?
I think that it's, the clinic has been in circulation now for about 6 years or so, and during this period, we have helped thousands of people stay in their homes by learning about the housing law in the state of New York and also about their rights as a tenant.
Fabulous, fabulous work. Thank you so much.
And thank you, Eminem.
Thank you, Eminem.
Okay.
Okay, great. So back to us. So,
Yes, and I'd like to say that our friend Gail Brewer has formed 2 working groups to address the affordable housing crisis. The first, seeking ways to keep people in their homes. The second group, made up of housing policy experts and the development community, focuses on the development of new affordable housing. So our hats off to Gail Brewer.
right, so Gail Brewer, this is your assignment. I'm giving this to you, okay? Gail Brewer is the Manhattan Borough President, and she has working groups, and the specific area that they're working on is how to review and change law and policies. So it's your mission. I'm giving this to you. We need to change New York law. Jason, I'm giving this assignment to Josh. Okay, you have to hunt down these working groups, and you have to let them know that in New Jersey we passed a tenants' rights bill where if you win against your landlord, you can recover attorney's fees so you can be made whole again, okay?
Wow.
So even though we have that law in New York, the difference between the New York law and the New Jersey law, this is why New Jersey now is leading way out in front. This is Governor Christie, New Jersey Governor Christie, signed this bill into law January 1st, 2014. The tenant right has to be stated in the lease. New York doesn't have that. So when you go and you ask, it's easy for tenants to be fooled because they'll look at their lease and their right is not stated there. So when I went down to the Brooklyn District Attorney's Office, to the District Attorney's Action Center, and talked to dishonest paralegal Anthony Barossi, he claimed that the tenant had signed away her rights because he didn't see it in the lease. Oh, you agreed to it, didn't you?
The real thing is you can never give up rights because they're already there. Regardless of a contract you have with your landlord, he still has to abide by the state statutes and city ordinance. You never give up your rights as a tenant.
Correct, but in New York law, it says that if you win against your landlord, you have the right to recover attorney's fees because it's not an unconscionable contract. We don't draft a contract where one party gets all the benefits and the other party gets screwed.
Well, again, that goes against common law because in order to be an agreement, even to have a mediation, both parties have to do it and then agree to the aftermath of the resolution of that gathering.
Well, what happened in New York was that even though we tenants have that right, most of us don't know it. So if you go down to, let's say, the Brooklyn District Attorney's Action Center, this is under Charles Hines, not the new Brooklyn DA. The new Brooklyn DA is Mr. Thompson, and hopefully he'll be willing to work with us to amend New York law. So as we discussed in one of our shows with Ann Cunningham, you were here, New Jersey is way out in front leading on this because your right has to be stated in the lease. And if you go down to, like I did, to the District Attorney's Action Center in Brooklyn and you sit down with the head of the office, paralegal Anthony Barossi, he will tell you, now he's trying to fool people. Oh, you signed this, you agreed to it, didn't you? Didn't you? Now you know, Josh, as well as I do, that unless someone explains your right to you, and there's a provision that says, yes, I understand, I have this right, it was explained to me, I understood it, I expressly waived that right, they can't just take your rights away from you, right?
Right.
Okay, so that's what they tried to do in New York. So in New York, what we now have to do, because New Jersey is way out in front leading, is we have to amend New York law so that the tenant's right is also clearly stated in the lease. So since Gail Brewer has the Manhattan Borough President has this working group. I'm giving you this assignment, okay? Are you willing to accept it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so Josh is willing to accept this mission. You're going to find out who this working group is, and you're going to let them know that we need Gail Brewer's help. And if you can get Gail Brewer to talk to us, and perhaps
Yes.
come on the program, or we'll go visit her
Yes.
with better video, I promise. The video is a little blue cast because I was playing it on my computer, but that's okay because I did everything in a colored theme. So this is the flyer. Can you hold our flyer and I'm going to zoom in
Yes.
on it? Okay, I'm going to get a camera view and let me just zoom in
Okay.
on this a little bit.
Here we go.
Hold on just one second. Why is my camera? Whoops. Oh, sorry. Okay, I'm going to zoom in on this a little bit. Okay. And no, just hold it, and I'm gonna zoom in. No,
I'll do it above Crooked
no.
Doctors.
You don't have to, because I'm gonna take the stills off. So all you have to do is just hang on to our flyer
good,
here,
good.
and let me zoom in on it. So this is wait. Just hold it this way a little bit. There we go. Okay. So New York. Wait. It's best if you don't look at it and just hold it, okay? So this is New York City Council member Helen Rosenthal is sponsoring these free housing workshops and clinics, and they're at the Goddard Riverside Community Center at 593 Columbus Avenue between 88th and 89th Streets in Manhattan. Hold on, wait, Josh, you're just hold it right there, okay? You're good. New York City Council member Helen Rosenthal, the Manhattan Borough President Gail Brewer, and you get to speak with attorneys from the Urban Justice Center. These are free housing clinics and workshops. Wait. And the next one, they're every Wednesday. The next one is on May 7th. And they're going to have a senior staff attorney. Hold on. You're listing a little bit. Here we go. Just hold it right there. The senior staff attorney is going to be from the Urban Justice Center. They will be discussing preferential rents, so it'd be SCREE for senior citizens and for disabled people, DREE. And the next one is June 4th. Which will be succession rights. Somebody dies, how do you, stay in the apartment so you don't lose your housing. So May 7th, this is Wednesday, May 7th, 2014, and June 4th, 2014. The sign-up sheet starts at 6 p.m., but you should get there at 5:30. And you get to talk to free legal aid attorneys from the Urban Justice Center. And you're going to be going to 593 Columbus Avenue between 88th and 89th Streets in Manhattan. All righty. There you go. Thanks for your help, Josh. I appreciate
wonderful.
it. Yeah. Were you ever there?
Many times. And as I say, there have been people who have personally told me they have won their case.
Really?
They have won their case just by what they picked up there. But I will tell you one thing. They usually are of the caliber of Lydia Radin. That's true. That part is true. But one lady told me from just going there, she won her case with flying colors.
Very good. Okay, so we recommend that you come.
Yeah.
I was there. The lecture is given by a senior staff attorney at the Urban Justice Center. I was there at the last workshop. And then in another private room, they'll have free legal aid attorneys from the Urban Justice Center, and you can have a free consultation. And I sat with them for about half an hour, 40 minutes to discuss any personal issues that you might
And
have.
sometimes they're extremely honest, the kind of honesty you only can find from young, idealistic lawyers. I said, some landlords have brought dozens and dozens of senior citizens to court. why does that continue to happen? And the lawyers said, because that's how the courts and the judges derive income.
Yeah.
But some of these landlords should be thrown out and their property should be confiscated. But that's what should happen.
So-
and the
Not
lawyers
without a
agree.
trial.
Well, what Jason's working on and what we're also working on is dealing with the crooked courts and the crooked judges and the crooked lawyers in addition to the crooked doctors. So we got a crooked system we have to fix. And I believe that's our mandate from the Bible. I think there is a, you'll correct me if I'm wrong, but I think there's also a verse in the Bible that says it's our calling to take what's crooked and make it straight. Yes?
Right.
Okay, so we're going to get back, with that in mind, I'm going to segue back into our crooked doctors. And what Jason's working on with an organization called the National Liberty Alliance is they're working to constitute common law grand juries so that when you have a crooked landlord or you have a bunch of crooked doctors or you have a crooked school, you can gather a common law grand jury and indict these people and bring them to criminal prosecution. That's what Jason's working on.
A very interesting thing that I was reading about common law. Anytime you do any kind of a program against the people, it needs to be a trial. And if there's no trial, it's really not a court of anything. It's just a magistrate who's called a judge, who's giving you a ruling on what's there. But he's there to make money for his establishment and for his pension fund. So if it's true law, there is no law but common law. Everything that they charge us with is unconstitutional.
And what Jason's is talking about is that oftentimes, and this is true for me, is that oftentimes if you stand up and challenge authority and you find yourself subjected to malicious prosecution and abusive process, what we're standing against is the abuse of authority. It's not that we're against authority. We're against the abuse of authority. So oftentimes when you stand up to the abuses of authority, what you'll be subjected to is malicious prosecution. In the malicious prosecution, the judges are rewarded or incentivized for convicting, and this is above and beyond the usual graft and corruption. And the district attorney or the ADA is also incentivized or rewarded. So it's commission-based prosecution.
And I want to say that sometimes authority can be 1,000% wrong, like Hitler, Stalin, and Mussolini.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. And the judge we're dealing with right now, and go ahead.
And even FDR could be put in that because he did a lot of snagling around with the Federal Reserve. So no one is never just in what they think they are doing correct. Even Abe Lincoln was incorrect on his advancement against the South on the states' rights. It's an issue. What's happening too is that it's our job as mature people to make sure that our neighbors and ourselves are taken care of properly, and not to have the disdain among our fellow man. And that's what's happening in our society: this disdainness and this crazy assault on the people.
Yeah, and it's so what we're trying to do is change the court system or bring back what our founding fathers left us, which was the ability to constitute common law grand juries and indict these people. So, Jason, not to get too far afield, I'm going to give the big picture here. And I'm going to, because we've got a crooked judge right now in federal court that I'm challenging. So I just want to give the big picture here for law enforcement. Now, you remember in a couple previous shows, this is a document that I filed in the Federal District Court of New York. I'm going to just do it. Okay, this is the big picture. The crimes in New Jersey led to the cover-up in New York. So the crimes in New Jersey led to the cover-up in New York. And one of the criticisms that the New York governor got, or Governor Christie got, was, oh, you know, for the scandal that he's going through with the Bridgegate, they're saying that perhaps he could be accused of misapprehension of a felony. In other words, he's an authority figure, and transgressions or crimes were reported to him, and he didn't do anything. Well, you got to show a little bit more than you just reported it. You have to be able to show that the authority that you reported it to, or the judge that you reported it to, took affirmative acts to cover up. I can show that in my case. So you remember, Jason, because you live in Jersey City as I did, correct?
Correct. I've been here for many, many years. My family's been here since 1942.
Okay, so, and you ran as an independent for the city council, correct?
Correct. Ward A, South Ward, without South Park, without the animation.
Now, Steve Fulop was my city councilman when the crimes in New Jersey were happening. And in the aftermath of those crimes, I went to him and I showed him enough evidence that he should have taken appropriate action. He didn't. So Mayor Steve Fulop is toast. And I'm pulling this headline from an article in the Politico where they tried to say that Governor Christie is toast. But in fact, based on the facts, it's Mayor Steve Fulop who's toast, because I can show that there were enough, he had enough evidence in his hands as my city councilman, and he did nothing except cooperate with criminals. And specifically, I'm going to give you one data point. Now,
what's interesting to your case, too, when you reported this information onto him, he started to call the police because he was saying that you were harassing him. But again, how can you harass someone who is your elected official when he's supposed to be there serving you as a civil servant?
Thank you. That's a very insightful point, and thank you for making it. Every time I would go to an event in Jersey City to have my voice heard, Steve Fulop would try to have me arrested. I mean, that's William Doherty.
Stop. I was at a rally at St. Peter's College for a 2013 mayoral race. They were trying to keep you out, got you in. Malik, my candidate.
Exactly. They were trying to keep me out. Thank you. They were trying to keep me out, and Jason Berg gave me tickets and got me in. And I started telling people, listen, Mayor Steve Fulop, running for mayor, is participating in crimes against me. Specifically, here's one example. Judge Rodriguez had ample evidence, and so did the Hudson County prosecutor, Ed DeFazio, and his entire staff, of financial fraud against me going back to 2005. And I gave them, not only did I give them evidence, but I gave them case law that said that they could enforce the law. What they tried to do with the malicious prosecution in Manhattan is they made up this excuse. How are they going to get all these people off the hook in Jersey? So they made up this excuse that said only federal judges can uphold federal law. Well, that's not true. That's a cover-up. And the case law
that's not even a cover-up. That's a lie of the court and the people are supposed to be there for.
Well, yeah. Well, what they did was they had this malicious prosecution that they dragged me through in New York in 2010, and at criminal trial, they tried to come up with this fiction that said, oh, you know, the overall goal was how to get these elected officials and these judges off the hook here in Jersey. So they created this false record in the criminal court in New York, claiming that only federal judges can uphold federal law. But right here, this case, James versus SCS Business and Technical Institute, is right on point. Now, Judge Rivera is a judge right now in Brooklyn, and he ruled on this case. James was a pro se litigant, and he went in front of Judge Rivera in Brooklyn in 1992, and this is the case, James versus SCS Business and Technical Institute. And what this case says is, if you can show that the school lied, if you can show that the school fraudulently induced a student, if you can show that the school lied to get a student into the school, and then didn't provide the promised services, then all bets are off and the federal student loans are canceled and all that money has to be returned with damages.
Right.
So Steve Fulop had this information. Steve Fulop is guilty of a misapprehension of a felony, and this is Title 18, so this is 18 U.S.C. Section 4. He took affirmative acts every time I would come back and speak out, as you said. Jason Berg's one of my witnesses. Go ahead, Jason.
Also what happened, he would leave when you would speak because you wouldn't be able to know that he was there hearing you. But that's a BS, because even if he was out of the room, he's still responsible for what was there, because the machine is being recorded. So there's no excuse for him getting out of anything. I mean, the only thing I ask of any of our civil servants is do your best, keep your word, don't make assumptions, and don't take things personally. And he's a failure at all four.
Right. Well, yeah, exactly. And I said this at city council meetings when I would speak and present litigation points, and this is all archived on the internet. Steve Fulop would run from the room until one day I started saying, "You're a Marine and you're running away. Let's all look at the Marine. Who do I call in Washington? Give me a phone number. This is the Marine that runs away." I've never seen such a. Have you ever seen such a thing?
Well, and the thing is that I said during my campaign in 2013 that Steve Fulop was untrustworthy. I said that, and I said that in 2000. I learned that in 2010, 2011. That Steve Fulop wouldn't stand up for my Jersey City Energy Production Authority, which had money that could run the city's electricity, save us money, create jobs, and it was turned down by the stupidity of the institution called Mayor Healy.
Okay, so we want to stay a little bit more on point. I mean, we're it's not wholesale, but have you ever? I want to thank you for bringing that up, though. But Jason, you used to be at city council meetings with me. Have you ever seen a Marine run away?
No, not really.
Well, actually, is a Marine or is a civilian who's we used to call them scurvy civvies, and so he doesn't want to stand up to his rights and responsibilities of his own oath of office, and his oath of office as a person in the Marine Corps. You never give up your oath.
So Steve Fulop is running for mayor of Jersey City, and he's got this big propaganda campaign, and here shows up Lydia Radin. Well, he can't wait to get rid of me. He used to lie to the police to try to have me arrested. And William Doherty was one of a group of citizens. They would not let me walk the streets of Jersey City alone because they wouldn't let it happen. So shame on you, Jersey City Police Department, because Steve Fulop should be prosecuted.
Well, it's not the police department that has to do that. That's the legal team. But no one's going to point the finger until they press the papers. So if your willingness to serve him with the papers, you don't need a common law grand jury. You just need you need to file your claim. This is your claim. You put it in the court. That's simple.
And it's happening now because as I'm in federal district court right now with Judge Chen. And by the way, we probably want to get a chance to do it this show, but I've got an 8-minute audio taped conversation with a supervising attorney in the New York City legal department where I say, I don't even understand why I'm litigating right now, because you have the crooked doctors at Rikers Island who made a bunch of false records. I'm suing all these crooked doctors at Rikers Island, and they created all these false records which are based on the false records at Jersey City Medical Center. Now, this 8-minute audio tape, which I won't get a chance to play today, but we'll do it next week, I discuss with her, Josh, take a look at this. This is a consent for mental health treatment. Now, it says right there, what does it say right there?
Release
Refuse to sign?
refuse to sign.
Right. This is a consent form. Let me show it to the audience. Okay. This is a consent form. Now I'm discussing this with a. It's a shame I can't play this week, but I will. In order for the doctors, the Crooked Doctors at Rikers Island, to treat me as a patient, they have to have consent. Okay. So I'm discussing this with. These are your tax dollars being wasted right now, okay? There's no money for this, there's no money for that, there's no money for anything else, but there's plenty of money to commit fraud.
Oh, there it is, refuse to sign.
All that money that's there, there's so much fraud in every part of every court. I mean, they're not even looking at all the records for foreclosure. If they don't have a promissory note that's original, there is no transaction. You have to show.
Okay, what you're talking. Okay, we're getting a little far afield, because what Jason is also saying is that this fraud is also going on in the mortgage crisis. It's going on in federal student loans. So what you got here is, now I'm discussing this with a senior supervising attorney named Martha Calhoun. And you bet I'm going to play this. This is Margarita Gormis. She's a crooked doctor at Rikers Island, and this is a consent for mental health treatment. Josh, you're looking at this. Did
Yes.
I sign this?
No, you didn't. You refused to sign.
That's right. She does not have my consent. So you can't treat me as a patient unless you have my consent. Now, they created a stack of false records.
And she even spelled it. She spelled it with an E. She spelled sign wrong.
Yeah, well, she spelled it wrong because I think she's from another country. I think she's one of the. I think
it's still spelled wrong in English.
Yeah,
I'm noticing the errors. I love errors in documents.
Margarita Gormis is the crooked doctor. Now, the excuse that they came up with, was, because I got my hands on a stack of falsified records. I'm like, so how can you treat me as a patient? I refuse to sign. What part of no don't you understand, right?
And without consent, there is no order, no consent order. They can't do anything for you or to you. And that's really a trespass against you as a sovereign and your rights as an American living as a sovereign, as your own free person.
Well, it's fraud, and more fraud. So basically, they're trying to cover up for the crimes. Remember, our big picture is they're trying to cover up for the crimes in Jersey. They're making a false record in New York. They were successful in illegally convicting me. That's what this show is about, driving forward criminal prosecution and our cases. But Josh, go ahead, Jason.
I like before the show is over. I mean, it's really, I do a lot of writing for my organization. Mm-hmm. And I sat down with my associate, Phil, and I did a little expose on who is stopping our courts and actions of we the people. I'd like to read it into the record.
Okay, wait. We may get a chance to do that. I mean, we're on the show every week, and I don't want to go out into the weeds. I want to stay focused on.
But it has to do with everything that's crooked about our country.
And what you're trying.
The Ten Commandments of the Saint and Devil against sovereign Americans prosecutors, public defense enemy number one. One, they enforce codified laws that enforces them to reject the just, which hurts the lawful constitutional redress. Two, they neutralize us and states' constitutions by improper construction of statutory laws. Three, they control the court's submissions of peoples as trolls, guarding the bridge. Four, they are liars. They withhold and fabricate evidence, thus jailing the innocent. Five, they are tyrants, usurping power over the people of America. Six, they uphold the good old boys network of hypocrisy. Seven, they protect the status quo. Eight, they have blocking powers without proper review with prejudice. Nine, they hide and utilize de facto laws, defrauding our unalienable rights and constitutions. 10, they create and use de facto statutory fiction laws against
So basically what we're doing here is we're using the public access or Manhattan Neighborhood Network as a court of record. So when our courts are so crooked and so corrupt, I, for example, and Jason's doing it here because you're going on the record, I, for example, got affidavits, and then I had the people who were responsible for those affidavits call into my show and read them to authenticate them so I would not be falsely accused of forging them. So these are the extremes that we have to go through in America today because our country is becoming a fascist state, and we need to take our country back. So what you just did, Jason, and what we do every week is we're using public access TV as the court of record. These are my witnesses. They're coming forward. They're coming on camera. Jason, you submitted an affidavit in federal court you gave to me asking for an order of protection because you were standing up to these people. And we can read that affidavit into the record. But I wanted to show this also to you, Josh. Remember, these are your tax dollars that are being wasted, okay?
Of course.
Now,
if it wasn't for waste, they wouldn't have anything to spend.
yeah, but you know, it's over $250,000 in tax dollars wasted on persecuting me, and that money could have been used so many.
That's right.
We have housing workshops we could have funded. We've got, I mean, there's so many things that we could have done with that money that's not being done. Why? To satisfy Yeshiva University's lust for revenge.
Yes.
Okay, so let me stick to this litigation point before we get into rhetoric. Okay, so they claim that I was unable to, their story changed. You can see how these crooked doctors, and I'm showing this is in federal court right now. In fact, I went in front of federal district court Judge John Gleason before my case was changed to Judge Chen. And I can get the certified audio tape. None of these judges have, or the city has any plausible deniability. And as I said to the supervising attorney, I don't even understand why I'm litigating this case. You have enough information to know that this is fraud, and I'm your complaining witness, and these crooked doctors should be criminally prosecuted for fraud. So this should not be knocked down, drag out litigation to give me a hard time. So their story changed from, this is all fraud, and more fraud. Okay, this is all time, date, stamped. Their story changed to a comprehensive treatment plan. Look at this. This is nonsense.
That's why producer Gary Knoll has a new set of CDs called Fascism Incorporated, verifying everything you're saying.
Yeah, so their story changed from patient refused to sign to patient unable to sign. Now I'm standing in front of a federal district court Judge John Gleason, and I'm like, have you ever heard of anything so ridiculous in your life? Why am I unable to sign? Oh, and this is a stupid story they came up with. There's no computer printers in inmate housing. Now, I'm in inmate housing. Just down the corridor is the mental health department where the doctors have their printers and their offices. Now, Rikers Island is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If they needed me to sign for mental health services, they could have easily, escorted me from my inmate housing to the mental observation ward, or where the doctors have their offices, and I could assign anything. Even more absurd, I pass this office almost twice a day to go to recreation and to go to the law library. So they're not. This is not a patient unable to sign because they have no printers. Have you ever heard of anything so ridiculous in your life?
Well, it wasn't for the life.
Evil. Something so evil in my life. It's terrible.
Right. So you've got this stack I've got this stack now of crooked, of fraudulent records that are at Rikers Island, but all these crooked doctors that refers to the fraudulent records at Jersey City Medical Center. And all of this was done to cover up for Judge Rodriguez, who had the financial records in her hands, and she had the case law in her hands. She could have put a stop to federal student loan fraud, in my case, in 2008. But she deliberately didn't. So this is Stacy Dix-Kubiowski and Judge Rodriguez right now and Jersey City Medical Center right now that created these crimes. And this is how they worked with the school to subject me to malicious prosecution. Jason, these people need to be incarcerated. Steve,
Well, they will. When the common law grand jury comes up, it will be done.
it can be done.
25 people, understand how the common law grand jury works. It's brought to 25 people after it's investigated by the investigators, the administrators, and it's given to the, if they see something that's wrong, it has to be evaluated as truth. There's a jury trial, a maximum of 25, a minimum of 12 people will review a case that is to be reviewed as a crime. If it doesn't found it as a crime, it's a nullified crime. They're found innocent.
Well, here's the deal. I mean, you don't even have to wait to constitute a common law grand jury because this is in federal court right now. All the documentary evidence is in federal court. Carolyn Crook happens to be the city attorney. She has ample evidence in her hands right now.
And what's really great is that they try to destroy evidence, and your evidence is still in the file, which is fantastic. You beat the pants off of these prosecutors, and God bless you.
And they need to be, now what needs to happen is that right now, today, the FBI in Newark, New Jersey has enough information in its hands. The U.S. Attorney's Office in Newark, New Jersey can prosecute Mayor Steve Fulop. And then we would have a fair election. Right now we've got a mayor who participated in crimes. He needs to be removed. Ed DeFazio, Debbie Simon, Tracy McQuaid. I don't care that these are big, important people or prosecutors in Jersey. These people are criminals.
Well, the whole issue is that if you usurp the sovereign's right, you're there as a civil servant. And when you do that, become an uncivil servant to the people, and you are dangerous, and you need to be taken up on trial and subjugated to your demise. Because once you're found guilty of a crime against the people, you're going to go away, and the maximum could be just 1 year, one case, 20 years.
What Jason's referring to is they pulled this case from the law library so you couldn't find it. Mm-hmm. But I found it. And the copies of this case, which is James versus SCS, Technical and Business Institute, was in the New York Law Journal. So we're going to go out in about 30 seconds. So Josh, do you want to take the last word as our guest?
Well, the last word is that we have to erase this kind of evil from the face of the earth. And we have to be smart, like Lydia, and we have to be focused, like Lydia, and we have to also be honest, like Jason. You know, and together we can do it. And we can win at the end of the day.
Very good. Thank you. Do you want to say a word or two in parting, Jason?
Peace be with all peoples. Be yourself. You are dangerous when you're fearless. Know that you're right when you can question your establishment. Every day that you live to serve your fellow man and yourself. Be not selfish, and you will find your reward. God bless everyone. Thank you all.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
More next week.